Wallace, and number 27 is 6th.
He just simply drove deeper into the turn than Earnhardt, which is very unusual. Maybe Earnhardt didn't put up much resistance there.
And the 2 cars right ahead of him are battling for position. Chad Little, who was in the lead when the green flag came out from our red flag, and Ken Schrader is also right ahead of Rusty Wallace. But Wallace is putting on a great demonstration of how much he loves to drive on the road courses. We go pit side once again.
Bob Jenkins, during the red flag situation, I got a chance to talk with Rusty Wallace, and I asked him who was the strongest car in the speedway. He said, "It's me. We are so tough in 8 and 9, I just can't believe it." Very importantly, this is the same automobile that won Watkins Glen last year. You saw that on ESPN. He dominated the race. He also has won here at Riverside. That car has been raced twice and has won both times. These guys put a lot of extra effort into road racing, and Rusty Wallace says he is going to come home a winner today. By the looks of his performance on the speedway, it's a pretty good predictor.
Rusty Wallace's win here at Riverside came just last November in the Winston Western 500. And now you can see Ken Schrader beginning to challenge Little. Meanwhile, here comes Wallace to the inside of Ken Schrader in corner number 9, making it a 3-way race. See what happens as they come out of the corner. Rusty tucks to the inside. Chad Little a little sideways, and so is Ken Schrader. But Rusty picks up 2 positions.
Boy, he just drove on down in the inside of that turn. When he said he was strong in turn 9, he was right. That car stuck right down on the inside. The others had no alternative but just to fight it out there on the outside.
And we saw Dale Earnhardt there also pass Chad Little. So Rusty Wallace is definitely a man on the move as he comes up through the S's once again. And that car ahead of him is Jaco Giacomo, who is 8 laps down. So is not among those battling for these positions.
Also on the move, Bob, is Ricky Rudd, who's leading this race. He's moved out to a better than a 6-second lead over Terry Labonte, who is running second.
Ken Schrader and Dale Earnhardt now are nose to tail out there on the racetrack. So once again, the cars come down the backstretch with Rusty Wallace leading this group of cars down here.
It's Ken Schrader, then Dale Earnhardt going by. Chad Little was the big loser in that skirmish coming off of turn 9. He dropped about 4 positions.
Well, there's Phil Parsons, who also is moving toward the front, going to the outside at the entrance of corner number 9 and passing Chad Little.
Yeah, Phil's been picking off 1 or 2 cars a lap. He's moving right on up through the field in good shape. The last time around, we saw Benny Parsons, his brother, just behind Chad Little, and he moved around him on that lap and then passed Chad this lap. So Phil is moving good.
Phil Parsons, Chad Little, and Benny Parsons up through the S's here at Riverside. 43 laps have been completed, and the leader is turning laps right around 113.5 miles an hour. And there is the leader, the number 26 Quaker State Buick, driven by Ricky Rudd. Back with more after these messages.
NASCAR celebrating 50 years in auto racing from 1948 to 1998.
Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, Dick Berggren, and Jerry Punch back at Riverside International Raceway for the swan song as far as Winston Cup competition on this racetrack is concerned. Riverside International will host a couple of more races in July, and then it will be completely torn down to make room for a business complex and some housing. So a sad day for many in Southern California. Another racing facility goes by the wayside. Of course, Ontario Motor Speedway, which was not too far from here, closed down several years ago, and now Riverside comes to an end in 1988. At the Budweiser 400, the leader is Rusty Wallace, and there was a car between Wallace and the pace car. That was John Krebs, but he has come in for a pit stop, and so Wallace is the leader. Second place is Terry Labonte, followed by Dale Earnhardt, Sterling Marlin, Kyle Petty. Chad Little is running in 6th, then Ken Schrader, Ricky Rudd, Phil Parsons, and Benny Parsons. Those are the top 10, with 51 out of 95 laps completed. We're yellow because of oil on the racetrack in turn number 8. However, we're about to go back green.
And Bob, they'll have to make at least 1 more pit stop for fuel, if nothing else, before this race is over. So there will be at least one more pit stop.
So the green comes back out on the backstretch as the pace car drops to the inside, and the green flag is displayed. And now we'll watch Ricky Rudd battle alongside Ken Schrader down the backstretch as Rudd will begin his move back up toward the front of the pack. He made a pit stop just before the caution came out and then made one during the caution period. So he's got 4 fresh tires, as do many of the cars. And here now is Ken Schrader to the inside, being passed by another car on the outside as they come off of corner number 9. That is Phil Parsons in car number 55.
And Ricky Rudd moves around Chad Little. One more car out of the way as he makes his way up through there. Boy, you can see how well that car is working through the S's, and he does a great job of driving. He's so smooth. He doesn't throw the car around. You can see he just sort of weaves with the car and keeps it all 4 wheels on the ground. Here's the car number 18 being driven by Elliott Forbes Robinson in the pits now for an unscheduled pit stop for a change of left side tires.
That was the car that was started by Rick Hendrick, but he relinquished it to Elliott Forbes Robinson in the early going, and EFR is now getting a 4 tire change on pit road. And here is Rudd, meanwhile, now right behind Kyle Petty and Sterling Marlin and Dale Earnhardt. And it would appear to me at this moment in the race, Ned, that the 2 strongest cars on the racetrack, although many of these are certainly capable of winning this race, but Rusty Wallace and Ricky Rudd have been, in my opinion, the strongest here just past the halfway mark.
I don't think there's any question about it. Rudd was 8th on the restart. He's now has moved up to 5th position and is gaining on the leaders. And I'll tell you, it's not that easy to pass on this racetrack, and you can see him moving up on Kyle Petty. Sterling Marlin just in front of Kyle Petty. He is a very fast driver right now.
Petty, the number 21 car, ahead of Ricky Rudd. That's, of course, the Wood Brothers car. They have 8 wins here at Riverside, including 5 in a row from 1964 through 1969. But they have not won here at Riverside since 1977, when David Pearson did it.
Kyle Petty now putting the pressure on Sterling Marlin. And Rudd just waiting for either of them to make a mistake. There's Dale Earnhardt right in front of them. So 2nd through 5th place cars are very close together.
And we're still waiting to see Ricky Rudd's move on Kyle Petty. He has not been able to pass Kyle so far. Perhaps as they come down the backstretch here, Rudd will win the race, but for the moment, Rudd appears content to sit behind Kyle Petty and watch things ahead.
So maybe he can't do anything else. He might just because Kyle's car is very strong as well, and especially down the backstretch.
Terry Labonte in car number 11 runs 2nd to Rusty Wallace. Then comes Dale Earnhardt, Sterling Marlin, and now Ricky Rudd does pass Kyle Petty as they go into turn number 9.
That pass was for the 5th position. I thought Rudd was already in 5th position, but he moved into the number 5 position. Rusty Wallace leads. Terry Labonte is 2nd. Dale Earnhardt is 3rd. Sterling Marlin 4th, and now Ricky Rudd in 5th position.